Welcome to my WWE 2K24 Create a Wrestler tour. I just figured I'd create a video here to just run through who I have. I have my 100 slots filled with on 2K24, so I figured I'd make a video just run through them real quick. Yeah, so there's 100 of them, so I don't want to I want to whip through them quick. I don't want to. Although I could go through them for hours if I really talked about each one. So it's kind of a short tour here. Let's whip through them here. All right, his first one is Adam Bomb. He was one of the characters of the '90s WWF '90s, and he was never like a. I guess he was middle. He wasn't like one of the top guys or anything, but he was a memorable character. And let's go to the next one here. Here's Akeem, which I'll later on I'll get to One Man Gang, same person. And he tag team with the boss, Big Boss Man, and he was managed by Slick. And let's go to the next one here. So I'm not here for hours. This is number 3 of 100 here. Al Montoya. He was another. I guess he was kind of a high flyer, and then he was in. I'm trying to remember what years he was. It was in the '90s. He was around. He was another one of the many different characters that they had in WWF back at the time. There, a lot of gimmicks. Here, this is my Andre. Andre's in the game, but this is my Andre the Giant, like a pre-1985 Andre the Giant, earlier in his career when he where it's like good guy Andre. Well, he was a good guy after he cut his hair for a bit, but he's probably he was had this look more longer in his career than his later look that they saw at WrestleMania 3. All right, here's one half of the Killer Bees, B. Brian Blair. I'll get the other one later. I have some tag teams and Bad News Brown. He was, I think, Bad News Barrett took the name. It's like a tribute to Bad News Brown, Bad News Barrett. Bam Bang Bigelow, another one of the big men of the '80s. He last one eliminated on Hulk Hogan's team at the first Survivor Series. Barbarian, one half of the Powers of Pain. I'll get to the Warlord later. Bastion Booger, another crazy character. The Berserker, another. I think it was like a tribute to Bruiser Brody, the Berserker. But another crazy character, and I guess he was I don't know, early. I can try to remember the years earlier, and he was in the '90s too. Big John Studd, probably one of the top rivals to Andre the Giant. Blue Blazer, who was Owen Hart, and yeah, he wrestled at. I think the first time I saw him was WrestleMania 5 against Mr. Perfect. And Bob Backlund, former champion, from I guess '78 to '83, he was the champ. Boris Zukov, he was one of the Bolsheviks with Nikolai Volkov. So I'm whipping through these kind of quick, so this video doesn't take forever. But they really they need to add more costs, create wrestler slots, because 100's not enough. I have to keep swapping wrestlers out, so this is like an ever-changing list here. But this is the way I have it right now. The Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi there, and his he was a he used to lose to all the top stars, but he's well remembered. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He was also part of the Dream Team of Greg Valentine. Here's one half for the Bushwhackers, Butch, and here's the other half, Luke, the Bushwhacker tag team. I got them as created wrestlers, but they were in 2K18. I think they might have been in 17 as well, but they've been in 2K before. They're not in now. I got some of the managers here: Captain Lou Albano, Classy Freddie Blassie, and the Cowboy Bob Orton, Randy Orton's father. The British Bulldogs. There's Davy Boy Dynamite's coming up. I got Demolition Axe's Smash. I got Ultimate Warrior as his original character, the Dingo Warrior. Dino Bravo, Dr. D. David Schultz, one of the probably a precursor to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Actually, like Dr. D was really good. If you ever see some stuff he did, he was really good at being a bad guy. Dynamite Kid, the other half of the British Bulldogs. Earthquake, one half of the natural disasters. The Giant Gonzalez had a famous feud with the Undertaker in 1993, WrestleMania 9 and SummerSlam that year. Goldust, Cody Rhodes' brother, goes nicely with Stardust, who's in the game. There's Greg Valentine. He used to fight for the Intercontinental title, and he used to battle with Tito Santana over it. And then he was a tag team champion with Brutus Beefcake, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hacksaw actually had a nice feud with Andre the Giant, and yeah, I think he came into WWF in at WrestleMania 3. He started. Here's Haku. He's related. He's in the Rock's family, and he's one half of the Islanders, and he was King Haku as well. Harvey Whippman. He managed Giant Gonzalez. He was also named Downtown Bruno, but he was when he managed he was in WWF. He was Harvey Whippman. He managed Kamala too. Hercules. He was actually Ultimate Warrior's first opponent at WrestleMania. It was at WrestleMania 4. He was the first person Warrior wrestled at WrestleMania. Hillbilly Jim. Yeah, he did he was actually like Earthquake. He did the thing where they're like a fan first, and they're in the crowd and then become a wrestler. Iron Mark Sharp, one of the great. He was a jobber. But he was a character too, though. So he was kind of a. He always wrestled on especially the used to always wrestle on the televised house shows and stuff, and make the stars look good. Iron Sheik famously beat Bob Backlund for a world title, then lost it to Hogan a month later. IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. He was part of the U.S. Express. He just went in the Hall of Fame with him, Barry Windham. They were the U.S. Express at WrestleMania 1, but then he teamed with Ted DiBiase in Money Inc., and he was IRS for in the 90s there. Another gimmicky character of the 90s. Ivan Putski, he had a cool feud with Jesse Ventura. They had an arm wrestling matchup, and he was always a good always had good matches. And half of the Rougeau brothers, Jacques Rougeau, who went on to be the Mountie, and Jesse Ventura. He announced the first 6 WrestleManias, and he was also a wrestler who, like I said, he fought Ivan Putski. It says Jim Powers. I got Jim Powers. He was a jobber, but he also was in a good tag team with the Young Stallions of Paul Roma. Jimmy Snuka. His most famous moment was probably jumping off the top cage on Don Morocco. This was 1983 at the Garden, October the 17th, 1983 at the Garden, when he jumped off the cage. He actually jumped off the cage in '82 and missed went on to trying to hit Bob Backlund. All right, Jimmy Hart actually managed King Kong Bundy, and then Bobby Heenan took him. And actually, Jimmy Hart's going to be in the game. I'll be able to free this spot up, but he's not in there yet. He's about a month away from being in the game from when I record this. There's the other half of the Killer Bees, Jim Brunzell, famous for the drop kick. Junkyard Dog. He was a huge star in the '80s. Junkyard Dog. When he got in the WWF, he was a big star. He was very popular. He used to bring the kids in the ring and they'd dance and stuff like that. It was great. Kamala. He used to fight Hogan for the title. He feuded with the Undertaker. And yeah, he was another one of they always had they had a lot of big men in the '80s. Kamala, another one. And he was in the LJN figure line. Like actually, a lot of these wrestlers were. Another one, LJ, was an LJN figure. Ken Patera, the strong man. He was probably like about 15 to 20 years before Kurt Angle came in. He was another Olympian wrestler type. There's the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, probably the biggest star of the Von Erichs when he came to WWF and won the Intercontinental title. It's King Kong Bundy, main event at WrestleMania 2 with Hogan. He was also an LJN figure. And here's another one, Coco Beware. Coco Beware was like he was like a star, but he lost. He always lost or lost a lot. So he was kind of in the middle of between being a guy that just always just lost, but also was a star. And he sang this Pile Driver song on the album, the Pile Driver album they had back then. There's Lex Luger, Lex Express, Lex Luger from his big title fight against Yokozuna in SummerSlam '93, when they gave him a big push. They got Don Morocco, Magnificent Morocco. I remember him fighting Tito Santana for the Intercontinental title, and he was in the Intercontinental title picture in the early to mid '80s. They get Mantar, another crazy character, because of the '90s. I forget what year he was around, but yeah, he was another one. And Marty Jannetty, one half of the Rockers. And I got Shawn Michaels as well. I got the masked superstar who went on to be Demolition Axe, but he was like a masked bad guy wrestler before that. Fought Andre the Giant. Max Moon, another character, gimmicky character. High Flyer. Missing Link, another one of those like remind me of, like he was like put him in the category like the Boogeyman, George the Animal Steel, Papa Shango, kind of one of those different kind of characters. Model Rick Martel. Rick Martel's gimmick when he became a model, and used he used to carry and call it arrogance. His cologne or perfume thing. He used to spray people with it. The Moondogs, Rex and Spot, another tag team of the '80s. They probably went back to the '70s, but they were more crazy characters. I think George the Animal Steel. Who's the George the Animal Steel who was actually in the game? And there's the Mountie, Jacques Rougeau, who was one of the Rougeau brothers and became the Mountie. Mr. Fuji, he wrestled, but he became a manager in the '80s with a Bobby Heenan and Jimmy Hart in that class. Was an LJN figure. It's Mr. Perfect. Yeah, he was a great wrestler. Him and Bret Hart had a good match at one of the SummerSlams. There's Nails. He was like he had a storyline with the Big Boss Man. He was like the Boss Man was like the guy that put him in jail, or so I forget what the story was, something like that. And Nails got out of prison and wanted to get revenge on him, so they had a feud. Natural Butch Reed, another bad guy from the '80s. And let's see, Nikolai Volkov. Yeah, he teamed with the Iron Sheik at WrestleMania 1. And he was also with the Bolsheviks with Boris Zukov. One man gang, who was also Akeem, as I talked earlier about Akeem. And he was a really one of the big bad guys. They always sent him after Hogan, and they never could beat Hogan. Outlaw Ron Bass, another character of the '80s. He was like mid card. I think they used him to lose to the Stars at times and stuff. Papa Shango, another crazy character from the early '90s. Remember he put a spell on Ultimate Warrior and stuff. But another cool one. He's been in 2K games. He's not in 24 though, so I had to get one. Paul Orndorff, he was the one that got pinned in the main event of WrestleMania 1, and he had a good feud with Hogan for the world title. Paul Roma, the other half of the Young Stallions, he was also on Power and Glory with Hercules. So he had a couple of tag teams, and he was actually Paul Orndorff. He was with Pretty Wonderful. He did that was in WCW. They had a tag team. He was in a bunch of tag teams. Paul Roma, Pedro Morales. Yeah, he was the Intercontinental Champion. Pedro Morales. He's another legend from way back '70s, '80s. All right, here's my Randy Savage. The UM is for Ultimate Maniacs. Because him and Ultimate Warrior had a brief tag team, so I got a Randy Savage dressed up as an Ultimate Maniacs gear. I wish the tag team lasted longer. It was a really cool tag team. The other half of the Rougeau brothers, Raymond, Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, who went to WWF and they made him a character. And painted the top of his head red, so it looked like a rooster. Another crazy character. There's Rick Martel from Strike Force. Rick Martel. In the white tights there, he was Tito Santana. Here's the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk. Although it became Legion of Doom in WWF, but yeah, they're probably one of the top teams of all time. The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, who was tag team champ. They beat him and Tony Atlas beat the Samoans. Ronnie Garvin, Rugged Ronnie Garvin. He had I think it was a WrestleMania match against Greg Valentine. He had a good feud with Greg Valentine, I remember. Sam Houston, another guy in the '80s that I guess I'm trying to remember him. I remember him, but I think yeah he didn't win a lot. But yeah, he was another well on the '80s roster. People call it the Golden Era. Sergeant Slaughter, famous. I always remember him the boot camp match against the Iron Sheik. Yeah, Madison Square Garden. That's probably one of his that and then when he fought Hogan in WrestleMania 7 for the world title, defended the world title against Hogan, lost it to Hogan. There's rocker Shawn Michaels. Let's go with Marty Jannetty. Skinner, another cool character from yeah, I guess he was the '90s. There's Slick, manager, another manager of the '80s with had an LJN figure. Manages Boss Man and Akeem. SD, Special Delivery Jones. He was another one. He was a big star, but he always lost, kind of like Coco Beware. And then and he had an LJN figure too. For that was the first line that WWF had, the LJN figures in the '80s. And Psycho Sid. And I think he fought the Undertaker WrestleMania 13. He fought El Gigante, who went on to beat Giant Gonzalez, and he fought Hogan in WrestleMania 8. And he was the main event of WrestleMania 8 against Hogan. There's the other half of the Islanders, Tama. There's Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. I got Kerry as Texas Tornado, and yeah, I could delete one of those to free up a spot. I got two Tito Santana, Strike Force and regular like singles Intercontinental title run Tito Santana. Another LJN figure. They made a single. Yeah, Tito was made to. They made him as a singles wrestler in the LJN line, and then as a tag team with Strike Force. Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, teamed with Rocky Johnson's tag partner. There's an Earthquake's tag partner, Typhoon, who started out as Tugboat. There's Ultimate Warriors from the Ultimate Maniacs. And there's Undertaker's original look. I got his original look was not in the game, so I went and got a created one. There's Virgil. Virgil is a wrestler. I found him as the bodyguard Virgil. He's more famous for being Ted DiBiase's bodyguard, but I got him as a wrestler when he feuded with Ted DiBiase. All right, the Warlord, the other half, the Powers of Pain, and yeah, that's it. That's it. Ran through quick. There's my 100 Caws creator wrestlers. That's it. I wish they hopefully increase the amount you can have because 100's not enough. There's so many more I want to add. I got to swap them out because of the limitations of how many you can have. And so yeah, I just want to show you who I have right now. It's ever changing because I always, like I said, I was going to swap out wrestlers. But that's my 100 created wrestlers as of right now. So hopefully you enjoyed my run through here of my created my custom roster. And yeah, I'll this is always because of the limitation. This is always changing. I always have to, if I want to use somebody, I got to delete somebody because I filled 100 up pretty quick. So all right, that's it. That's it for this video, and I'll see you another time.